Hello, hello. It's me, Elisa, with my spiritual friend. I am back. It's Sunday. There you go. You see my head. We're in November now. Say hello if you're here. Let's see what my list is. I've got Regine with 2. Get out. I saw some names on here that I haven't seen in a while, so I'm kind of excited about that. Carly and Mariana. Wait a second. Why is that on? Hang on. Are you guys able to post in the chat? Can you just... It says, I just want to make sure that you guys are able to post. Can you guys just type something really quick for me? Because I don't know how to change the settings if it's the case. Let me see, hang on. Are y'all able to post? If not, I set something weird and didn't realize it. Can you guys comment in the chat? Hello. Whoever's here, just say hello in the chat. I'm trying to see. It has this weird, it says only viewers that selected by the channel owner can send messages, but I'm not sure if that's always there or if that's new. Help me out here, or I'm going to have to reset this. Okay, I don't see anybody posting anything, and I know y'all are pretty good about saying something. Okay, I'm going to start this over because I can't figure out. Let me see if I can. Hang on. Let me see if I can do something. Hey, live commentary. Oh, anyone. I don't know how that got set that way. Okay, let's see if this fixed it. Now, are you able to chat? Yay! Okay, great. I fixed it. Somehow it got, I don't know. Normally I put anyone can post because I don't really care. Hello, how are you? Okay. Fabulous. Would you like to start with your question, Miss Regine, because you're up? And I'm just going to post and I got one more land. Oh, you did. Nice. That's amazing. Congratulations. Is it connected to the one you're on? You already have the 2 you already have? Did I say that I thought you would get 1 or 2 more? Oh, stupid thing. I hate this heart thing that they have next to the, like, I don't really. So hang on. I'm just doing this so I can bounce that up and then do this. I have a lot of drinks for today, by the way. One's coconut water and the other one's tea. I'm happy as thank you, not too far. It's about 20 minutes away. Okay, perfect. Perfect. I'm excited for you. Okay. Should we get started? Who wants a reading? What's your question? Sure, you can start with a journal. Of course you could. It was funny. I did live readings on TikTok yesterday. Normally I have my dehumidifier running in here, so it gives me a little bit of noise, and I forgot to turn it on. And it was so very quiet. It was weird. And I'm just moving this around because I feel like something's off here. I don't know. Okay, never mind. All right, so we'll go ahead. What does Regina need to know today? So I got a celebration, right? Obviously for the lamb, but then I heard that song. What's his name? It's from the 80s. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that. Hang on, let me find his name. Hang on. What is his name? Oh, Rod Stewart. I was like, I know his name is Rod something. The song is Infatuation. So I don't think all the lyrics totally apply to you because it's like drunk again. And I don't think that you are a big drinker. But it is a feeling of like there being someone out there, like kind of interested in someone. And it does feel like infatuation. And I just heard this is not the one. And there is something about somebody coming in 3 months. But I also get the feeling of this feels more like ancestral energy giving you this message rather than guides, because it's a grandmother feeling energy. And it feels like through your mom's lineage, and it's this idea that of you building wealth on your own, you being your own queen, and not giving away your power financially or otherwise to a partner. I don't know how much you know about your grandmother's relationship with her spouse, but it's this feeling of just, I might have done things differently if I had more financial independence. Carly, I was so excited when I saw your name. I was like, oh, Carly, I haven't seen her in forever. Yeah. So I feel like she's giving the message of like, it's really important for you to make sure that you are financially independent and not like, don't give that away to anybody. I feel like I can't figure out. I don't know. I feel like I'm in a weird angle. Sorry. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it just feels like that's like when this person comes in, don't be so quick to be like, let's marry our bank accounts. Let's do all of this stuff. It just feels like making sure that you're really smart about your money. What other question did you have? And then the list I have up here is Carly first and then Mariana. She has some words about your grandfather. And it's just the feeling of, she definitely would not have stayed married to him so long. It feels like it was a very tough marriage. You can think a little bit more. I don't know why she just started sharing that. So, sometimes we as grandchildren have different views of our grandparents, and it just feels like maybe their relationship was a little bit over romanticized. I realized that I could just put the words in front of my face because I don't really care what I look like. So then that way it doesn't look like I'm like looking off to the side the whole time. She had 12. Oh, yeah, that's a lot. Oh my God. I don't even know how, like, my mom has friends who had, like, 8 and 12 kids in their families, and 3 just seems like it's really pushing it. I love my girls, but it's a lot sometimes just juggling, everybody wanting to be in different directions and all of that stuff. Okay, so Carly, do you wanna ask your question? What do I see for you? Oh, your next question is, what do I see for you next year for you? Okay. I'm just gonna check. All right. Um, I saw you packing up some stuff, but I don't know if that means you're moving out of like your office is moving because it feels more work related, or if you're moving. Are they talking about moving offices or moving to a different space, or maybe renovating it to where your desk would be in a different space? Because I see you packing up, but then I saw kind of like in the foreground, like if I was watching like something on my computer, and then they had like a whatever, it's in the foreground and it's all these balls bouncing. It's this idea of like I'm juggling a lot of balls, I'm bouncing, I've got a lot of balls going. Um, so it feels like when this happens, it's going to be a very busy period. I lean more towards this being like the March, April time. Does this resonate at all? New office space for 2024. Okay, great. um, um, because I was like, I told her she wasn't leaving her job. Why do I see her office moving? And you may even be making a move towards more towards like September, October in your home, like moving your home, moving abodes to a different domicile. um, because I feel like where you're at right now is a little dark and dim. And while it's cozy, it just feels like energetically not moving. But I do feel like, do you use a lot of cinnamon in your house? Because I can smell a lot of cinnamon. You hate it? Why do you have it then? Why? Oh, your sister loves it. um, are you contemplating a move, or is there a lease up or something like that in September or October of next year? I don't necessarily feel like you're moving to one of those plots of lands. I just feel like moving to like like something that's more airy, or maybe even more, a little bit more spacious. That's funny. Sorry. You want your own space. Okay, so then that would be this giving yourself more space. Okay. Um, I actually feel like it might be a little bit bigger than where you're at, like, or maybe it's more of an open concept than where you're at. Um, it may even be like if you're in an apartment building, it may even be within the same complex, just like a floor up. I lived with one of my sisters as an adult twice, and it was the first experience was not as bad as the second. We'll leave it at that. You're on the highest floor. I don't know why. I just felt like one floor up or one, like, I just felt a little bit higher or something. I don't know. Or maybe you're right next door to where you're at. Like, are there a couple of apartment complexes in a row? The area I lived in Houston was kind of near, I don't know if any of you guys know, the Galleria. When I moved to Houston, I'd worked in Austin a couple years and then moved to Houston to work at Texas Children's because they pay better than any of the hospitals in Houston. And I mean, in Austin's terrible for nursing pay. Um, and I lived like there was like several apartment complexes in a row. It feels like I'm maybe one floor higher. I don't know. She wants to stay in the dark every day and you love it. Okay, so then the dark apartment, that validates that. Does your lease go up in September or October? So I'm going to say this really quick. Carly, I think you need to drag the timeline because I think you're a bit delayed. So there's like the little bar on the bottom of the page. If you drag it all the way over, that way you catch up with me. Your lease is up in October. Perfect. You will be moving. And I do feel like you'll move into like it's either like more open layout or it's more open and airy and definitely brighter. I don't know if that means like one tier up, like maybe it's a little bit nicer apartment, or if it's literally one floor up. But I don't feel like it's far from where you're at. Like I actually do, I feel like you're still close enough to like want to hang out and spend time, but it's nice to have your own space. Because I don't feel like you're separating because you're just totally resentful and annoyed of each other. Got all these weird shadows on me. I don't know how these lights are set up. I had them set up once nice and now they're just not. You can't wait. Well, congratulations. It's happening. You don't have to doubt it. Okay, so let's look at Carly's. I've been working in community mental health for the last year and has been all consuming my question around dating and attracting a life partner. I want to breathe new life into my dating life. So wondering if you are seeing any movement in this area of my life. Okay. I'm asking this just for validation to make sure I'm connecting in with your energy, Carly, but I just felt like really like I'm not breathing through my nose well. So maybe you're just really congested or getting over a cold or something. And what's interesting is I saw like almost like a formal invitation or a formal calling card or something like that. Cause I was like something a little bit more stylized rather than online. And I'm not saying that you're gonna just print a calling card and like hand it out at the coffee shop or anything. It just like feels like maybe you're meeting them through something more formal rather than like dating online. So maybe it's through some sort of association or, I don't know if they have like young business people of Canada or whatever, but it feels like something a tiny bit more formal than a dating online. Or maybe it's even through an event, like a fundraiser event or something like that. And I don't think that they necessarily work in the same field that you're in. It just feels like there's an event to it. List is still open, Debbie. Carly, did you have a grandmother just recently pass? I don't know why. I heard just she's happy, and then I felt an older woman. Hi, SK. So these are your grandmother passed last year. Okay. I feel like she's happy. So these are paid readings. I charge $12 for a reading here, and I take 30% of that and I donate that to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey because food scarcity is real, and every dollar provides for 3 meals there. So I would be happy to add you to the list. You just gotta purchase, and I have it pinned to the top of the comment section. Joelle, I have I show that you purchased a reading. Let me go in here and look at this again. And Debbie, I have yours too. So she just wanted to pop in really quick. See, that's how that works. Sometimes we're not looking for it. Sorry, I have this like annoying bra on. I don't normally wear this kind. It's just feeling a little itchy and like my skin is like all annoying today. Sorry, sensory issues abound. I feel like, so I feel like you'll be meeting someone through more of a formal event rather than dating. So I almost feel like it's not even necessarily like opening up anything or breathing fresh life in it. It's just like going about your business and enjoying life and having fun and then kind of running into them. Okay. So did you hear what I said? Maybe? No? Yes? No? I got you, Gia. I don't know if you, it's not anything that you can really validate with that stuff because it really is just kind of projecting out into the energetic field where you're at. You caught most of it. I appreciate the message around not being on apps. Yeah. It just feels like going about your business, doing your own thing, and like really just like owning your self power and your self concept and just going and doing things that bring you joy. And then it just sort of happens. It really does feel completely unintentional. Like I'm doing this event and like I said, I saw like something that looks more like a formal invitation or something like that. So again, maybe you're a part of some kind of licensing connected or grown up, I don't know, adult business persons, whatever. Or maybe it is like a fundraiser type thing you're involved with. And I don't necessarily feel like they're working in the field you're working in, just somebody that you meet through that. I felt like I really don't want to go to a dating app route, but it's worried I wasn't doing enough to put myself out there. I don't think so. I've said this for a little bit now that like I feel like dating in general is kind of going to be like the pits for the next year and a half or so. And not because anybody's doing anything wrong. I just think there's a huge energetic shift around people on an emotional intelligence sense and sort of like what they're wanting out of life and how they're approaching life and relationships. I think it's a big time for like awareness and healing, especially for men, because we're sort of like peeling out of patriarchy and like realizing patriarchy and capitalism like doesn't really work and it doesn't serve anyone. So yeah, you're still going to hear the yammerings and screamings from some of the far religious right type sectors of like, you need to find a man who can lead you, because God knows that extra X chromosome stopped you from being able to have a brain. Stupidity. To like men going, oh yeah, this like doesn't work, and I haven't ever really expressed myself emotionally, and why am I so afraid of that, and how do I do that? And like men sort of learning over, especially the next like 2, 3, 4, 10 years, or some of the other ones, of like learning to like bond with other men and have actual emotional connections and relationships, and not like, romantic, but just learning to have like deeper connective conversations. um I grew up with a lot of guy friends, and from a lot of the men I see through whatever, like it's hard for them to be vulnerable with each other, because they're so uncomfortable with their own feelings, and then also feeling, well, I'm alone and nobody else feels this way, and all that kind of stuff. So but I do feel like, I don't have a time frame, but I do feel like in the next year or so, that's sort of what's coming up for you. Um, I mean, you can see that like through, there's this woman I really love on TikTok. I don't know if you're on there. Her name is Mel Hamlet. And she really does talk about like a lot of things, but it's kind of what's going on in general. Like if you're on any kind of feminist TikTok platforms, it's kind of what's going on. There's this big shift. And I think astrologically, I don't know why sometimes I'm having weird, that's kind of what's going on when they talk about moving into the age of Aquarius. It's moving away from these really structured big government stuff to kind of like recognizing how much we really are interdependent on each other, and that it really does serve everybody to lift everyone else up. And that you won't go without if you don't, and all of that interconnectedness and all of that stuff. Okay, Mariana. 10 months ago, you told me to find an integrated doctor, and I did, and she addressed my low energy with supplements, and I feel great now. Yay! You were low on, hang on, I'm just putting a thing so I can see because of this stupid heart. Oh, there, you did it for me. You were low on iron, B12, and CoQ10. Fabulous. But even though the energy has improved 6 weeks ago, I still feel I'm struggling with finding a way to lose weight. I can just tell you, like, that was just like my next thing was like, oh, insulin resistance. Do you see any obstacle to you losing weight? Insulin resistance, insulin resistance, insulin resistance. I am convinced. So what do you want to look at? I always feel like, I don't know how psychic this is, but it's like just patterny kind of. Okay, so you're going to want to be adding at least 25 to 30 grams of fiber in your diet, like having at least 25 to 30 grams of fiber in your diet. I guarantee you probably don't get enough fiber in your diet. So whether or not you supplement it, or like lentils are super high in fiber. Chia is really high in fiber. Leafy green vegetables, apples are a great source of fiber. There's all kinds of things that are full of fiber. So fruits are not bad, especially reading whole fruits. Little tiny oranges, those little clementines, those have fiber in them. Like everything has fiber in them. So like, I'm still working on the losing part, but my hair thinning is like insanely better. I was noticing on a video I did a live, I was watching it back to see if I wanted to share any of it. It's not about salad. So it's not just salad, right? So you want to make sure, flaxseed, but flaxseed doesn't have as much as you would think. Pumpkin seeds are great, but it's really like you need to like boost. So you want your first meal of the day to have like at least 10 grams of fiber in it. I would even drink a fiber drink in the morning just to get started to see where you're at. If you're like, if I were you, I would get like on my fitness app or something like that, where you can track it. So, and like make sure that fiber is included. Like I don't even worry about carbohydrates. I just focus on fiber, fat, and protein, and just see how much you're really getting. You may not be getting as much as you think you are, even with that. And you may actually be a little low on your calorie intake. So a lot of people undereat. sometimes those protein powders are not complete proteins. Like if you can get the protein other ways, you may actually be under eating, to be honest with you. So you want to have at least 30 grams of protein in the morning and 30 grams of fiber throughout the day. Fiber is really important. Fiber is important for clearing out, not only for your gut health, it's really important for clearing out excess estrogen and things like that. You want to eat 2 to 3 meals a day. If you eat 3 meals a day, you want to have 4 hours window between each meal. No snacks. Forget the snacks. Because what that does is it keeps your insulin high. And so there's nowhere for that extra glucose and stuff to go. Like it's just not working. Nothing's moving into your muscles in your body where it needs to. And then you also want to make sure you do some weight training, maybe 3 days a week of weight training. Nothing crazy, just building muscle mass, because the more muscle mass you have, the better you use the glucose. And walking every day. Walking, or sometimes I do the infinity hoop, sometimes I walk. I just do something. I also do a little bit of my trampoline every day because it helps with your lymphatic system. But you don't want your heart rate to go above 125 to 135. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You don't want to overstress your body. So you might need to up your weights a little bit. And then also understand that, so it's like, it's all of those things. But I honestly, if I were you, I would track what you're eating, track how much you're eating, so you know if you're getting enough calories, because your deficit could be fine even if you're at, like, you find your maintenance amount, which is like probably whatever your weight is times 11 is probably your maintenance amount, because that's like light activity. And then you want to drop just drop 100 or 200 calories from there and go slow on it, because really the idea of this is that you want something you can maintain. I'm now on a diet now where I'm like, this is something I could easily maintain forever. Like, I don't feel like I don't feel miserable. I don't feel like, it just feels like, make sure you're getting more fiber. And then don't have, like, how are your meals when you're eating them? Like when you're eating a salad, are you really getting enough protein in your salad? Are you feeling full after you eat? Because I eat and I'm full. I'm like, I am full. I don't feel uncomfortable or anything or disgusting, but I'm full, and I'm full for 4 hours. I can tell you some teas and things that are good, but you also need to look into them. And okay. And you can eat dairy. Dairy's not, evil. This idea that dairy is evil is like weird. And you can have rice and like, the reason why you choose a sweet potato over, but I still eat russet potatoes. I don't care. It's just, I would just do the calorie counting part, making sure you're actually getting enough calories rather than like too few. And then your body will struggle and hold on to that weight too. So supplements, things that you can do for insulin resistance are, hi DL, our burdock root is really good. Burdock root tea, berberine. You may need some digestive enzymes. I don't know. Could ask your doctor about that. All of them, obviously. Soursop tea is good for it. Even with your meals, are you still having a lot of sugar cravings or slumps in the afternoon? Slumps in the afternoon for a snack. We don't want snacks. So I guarantee you're not getting enough fiber, and you're not getting enough, right. But what that does is, it causes, it's insulin resistance. The minute you set the slump in the afternoon and the snacks and needing a snack. And even if it's a good snack, it doesn't, like, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that's the kicker that tells me that my intuition was right about that. So I front load my day with a huge boost of like, I may even do, instead of like splitting up where they're like, oh, have 500 calories or 600 calories, whatever, every meal, whatever your breakdown is. I may front load and have a ginormous breakfast, and then I'm not hungry in the afternoon. I may only eat one other time a day. Like I sometimes only just do 2 meals a day, depending on how big I eat, because I'm not hungry. Um, um, so I disagree with the fruit thing. And here's why I'm going to disagree with your fruit thing. Only because when you're eating those, it's not that it shouldn't be on an empty stomach. It's just that it should eat it with other things, but also depending on the fruits that you're having. Cause like berries are really high in fiber. Apples are really high in fiber. Fruits are good for like, strawberries, berries, sorry. Little clementines aren't bad, but that's like not the only thing. Like when I eat, like I said, I don't eat a snack. I don't graze throughout the day. So if I eat that, I'm making sure I'm getting fiber, fat, and protein. It all goes together. So it's a little meal. But it's okay to, if that's the thing you start with. It doesn't have to be. It actually should start with the fiber thing first. So, but I don't need them just alone. Like I always make sure I get it. Like, so I'm having a meal. I'm not having I don't eat a ton of crackers or gluten. I would stay away from that if I were you. And then when you get the gluten free, by the time you get that, it's like, unless you're eating like the little wisps, the little Parmesan crispy things, I don't know. I'm always like, kind of like, I don't crave those anymore since I got rid of the insulin resistance thing. I don't crave the cracker and breading and stuff anymore as much. And when I do have something sweet, it's funny because I'll try something and I'm like, oh, that's not what I really wanted. And I go grab a piece of fruit and I'm like, oh, that's what I wanted. Like that's enough sweet for me. I don't just like, before I could like candy bar, whatever, cookies. You can see my weight I have gained. So, but really I started looking at it and also when you start looking as like, I'm fat, I'm doing something wrong, or I've gained all this weight, I can't do this, there's something wrong with me. I think that added extra shame that we add onto it. Whereas if you're looking at like, this is an insulin issue, I can fix this. Like there's nothing wrong with me. We just aren't educated well on how to eat. And I certainly am not like the go-to. These are just things I've learned and I'm hoping I'm getting it right. But I can tell you, I feel better. I have more energy. My hair is not falling out like crazy. I don't wake up in the morning feeling sluggish. I sleep better at night for the most part. Minus stress from being a parent, but so that's what I feel like. I don't feel like it's, I actually even feel like when you do, there may be something with your mechanics when you're doing strength training that you just need to double check. Cause I feel like maybe I'm using more of I don't know. I just feel like I'm not, just watch your mechanics on some of your lifting. And it feels like when you're doing your beg, like say if you were doing, like I feel like maybe my arms are slumping forward when I need to make sure my shoulders are back. Hi, Rock Don. Look at it's like a whole bunch of old people I haven't seen in forever here tonight. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I will check the payments. Let's see who's up next. Deborah, you're up, and then Joelle, and then Gia. I think Joelle, the only reason I was saying that is because I feel like we give fruit we wrap all the time. Like people get afraid of eating fruit. And I don't even necessarily think you need to be afraid of eating, gluten and things. It's just sort of like maybe doing it in like limited rather than on a regular snack kind of thing. Just a general. Okay. DL, I haven't seen you in forever either. I just looked at your name here. Okay, general for Jeffrey, sorry. I keep getting a lot of imagery, like interesting imagery. It's like sort of this, at first I felt like kind of like a cartoon character, like almost like where they're drawing like where there's like steam coming out of my ears and then like I even felt like I had clown shoes on where I just, I just kind of walk funny in clown shoes. It's just this feeling of like, I don't know, when the steam's coming out of the ears, it's like frustration. So there's a lot of frustration and feeling like I'm just like I'm not going through and moving through the world well. And then I saw myself as like a scuba diver where it's interesting because I felt like completely underwater, but that I was still okay. So maybe it's this feeling of like feeling like you're completely underwater, but I feel like I'm still safe and supported. I'm able to breathe. I have oxygen. I'm okay. Maybe it's just a reminder of like, even though it may seem like you're totally underwater and things right now and like completely in a different world and experience, that you're still okay and supported. And I still feel like I have a lifeline up to the surface. Like I'm not completely just free floating. I'm still very much tethered to the surface and to solid dry land. And they're sort of saying this like these are areas you're supposed to go to, the unseen. You're supposed to explore a little bit of the feeling of the field of being unknown, those areas that are unknown and unexplored. And so maybe this is like doing things differently than others who have come before you have done, especially family. And not needing to feel like you need to explain it to everybody all the time or justify your choices to everybody all the time, because it feels like you're doing better than a lot of the people around you, and yet they're still making you feel like this isn't the logic part of this is I know that you have financially supported a lot of people, and yet there's a lot of questions about how you're doing and what you're doing and why you're choosing making those choices, and they're saying like you don't owe anybody that explanation. You don't know owe anybody um, any reason at all to define where you're at and the choices that you're making. Did somebody just get a puppy dog? Maybe mom. See a little dog licking. Does any of this resonate? The annoying bottom of the cup slurp. No, it doesn't resonate. You're not really understanding. So, metaphorically speaking, the guides, the universe are saying that you spend a lot of time feeling like you're in unknown territory. And when you look at it for face value, being underwater is scary. It's unknown. Think about how much of the ocean is unexplored. And there's so much about it that's not known. But they're showing that like even though you're in this unknown experience, right? You can't really see because it feels dark. The water feels dark. It doesn't feel like I can see a lot of shapes around me. I still have oxygen and I still have like a tether. Like you think about like the old school cartoony where they show like where the guy has a big brass thing over his head like it's a bulb, and it's got like they've got the rubber line bringing the oxygen in. It's like you're still tethered to the top. You're still like you're okay. You're safe. You're protected. You're not just swimming out there all on your own with no security from anything from the universe. And so they're just sort of saying like this is being in uncharted waters, as compared to it feels like family members and where your family members have been in the past. And this idea of being an entrepreneur and sort of like um, doing this all on your own. And I get it. I'm not doubting that. And then the other part is like it feels like on the other flip side is maybe there's a lot of questioning from family members on the choices that you're making, and yet you financially support a lot of them. They're sort of saying like you don't owe anybody an explanation of why maybe things are a little bit harder or why you're choosing to do things the way you are versus like just going and getting a job anywhere or just doing whatever, like why you're having boundaries and certain expectations of what your experience should be. Why do I feel like that guy came back into the picture? I don't remember his name. I apologize. So he might come back in, and that's all I'm getting. Oh, the another ex did. Okay. Okay. It's like I just feel like there's an ex that came back into the picture. Hang on, I want to look at what this means because I'm seeing a spider, but I don't think you actually have a spider issue. I just want to see what it means. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you. Is he cool? Oh, you met a new guy named Justin. Um, and then I want to read this thing that I saw about because it's this oracle card, but where I saw the spider. So I want to read it to you. Um, I do think he's okay. I think he might be a tiny bit cynical about dating. Um, he has some trust issues. I feel like he would even say this. He's been burned in the past. Um, but I feel like he's got a really nice smile. I actually feel like with this relationship, it goes a little bit slower than other ones, and I think that that's a good thing. So it's like just taking your time to get to know each other a little bit better and not wanting to rush. And his not wanting to rush is not because he's not interested. It feels more like just like understanding that you have time, that it's okay to be a little bit slower in the process. I do feel like he's rushed into past relationships and it backfired on him. He sort of wears his heart on his sleeve. Okay, so let me read this thing that because I just saw I got a spider in my mind's eye. And it says, weaving your dreams into the fabric of life begins with a single thread of intention. And then spirit joins you as your co-weaving partner. Sorry. Take but a single step to make your dream a reality, and spirit will take 10 towards you. For the universe is designed to support your dream weaving. Spider spirit arrives when you need reminding of the awesome power of co creation with spirit. Ideas and resources will begin to appear. I really need my glasses. Yes. Oh, yes, he wears his heart on his sleeve. So I think he's good. I think where you're going to struggle with this is not forcing him to go faster because you're ready. Just like go slow. It's not because he's not interested. He just feels safer taking it easy. With my y'all, listen to this. I need to buy a little better quality glasses. Okay, look at that. Let's see. As you begin to weave your dreams from the realm of intention into the world of the senses where they take form, the action you need to take is to be clear about your intentions and then act as if you have become the one that lives the life you desire. The web of creation has an uncanny way of coming together to weave the beautiful pattern you set in motion. Another message of Spider Spirit is about about any creative project you may be considering: writing, painting, music, journaling, gardening, etc. Now is the time when inspiration wants to be channeled through you as something creative, even artistic and tangible. Creative projects are successful now. If you are so inclined, let yourself be open to abundance. Thank you, 45-year-old eyes. So, that's sort of where I feel like this guy is a good guy. Just feels more like make sure that you're not pressuring him to move faster than he's ready for, because that will in your face, you know. I've been struggling with a lot of things, but I still keep. You do. And I also want you to give yourself a lot of credit. You are incredibly resilient. You're incredibly strong and brave. You were just like, I'm just going to get up and move. And you went and did it and you weren't worried about it. Like there are so many people who do not have the bravery just to go, I want to change things in my life. So I'm going to do the work to do it. And yeah, maybe sometimes it doesn't work out, but that's sort of the risk you take, right? That sometimes things don't work out and that's okay. That you learn from them and you do something different the next time. But I listen to a lot of people go, but I want something different, but they don't want to do the work to try and make something different. They just want to complain about it. And you're not doing that. And I think you should really give yourself credit for that. Seems like he's been pushing you away since. That's a lot. So just remind him, say like, you take your time, whatever you need. I'm here if you need me. Send him a text randomly without the need for him to respond and without the expectation that he has to respond. Just, I'm thinking of you. Just letting you know, no need to respond. I just want you to know I'm thinking of you. You can be supportive without having an expectation, because think about when you go through something pretty awful and devastating, like the people that make you feel like you have to do something in that moment, like respond or whatever, you're just like, I don't even have this in me right now. So that's okay. This is 2 days. So if he's needs some space, because that's how he processes stuff, give him that space and just say, I'm here when you need me. You know, bring a meal over, a dish over for the family, and like without needing to talk to him, just like leave it on the door and just send him a text, left something outside the door or whatever. Like any way that you can support something without somebody needing to feel like they need to give something in return is 100% a million, like the way to go, especially when there's a tragedy. I can't tell you, I mean, how many times where I'll reach out to friends and I just say to them, like, I heard this is going on, or, you know, I'm sorry you're struggling. I'm here. You don't have to say anything. Okay. All right. Moving on. Sending you big hugs. All right, Joel, what's your question? Oh, gee, I gave you a heart and I didn't even, maybe you needed a heart today. Did you need a little extra hug or something? I was not showing favoritism. Just passing that on. I'm not showing favoritism. Just in case. My children are always like, you like that more. I'm like, I don't. It's not like sometimes somebody needs more than another. I would like to know. I was like, I'm a bit stuck in life. Okay. So, the imagery I get is like you, kind of near water, but like literally in like a frozen tundra. You know how, well, I know the wall in Game of Thrones is like literally just like ice and this huge, huge wall, right? But it's this idea that I'm sort of like, because I can hear like ropes on, like ropes being pulled on that are like that creakiness that you hear on big, thick ropes. Um, It's funny, I see it where it's like I'm on a boat and I'm stuck, but there's this great ice wall, so it's like I have to get up there, but I can't get on the boat because it's like it's not sturdy enough. So this idea of is like that, yes, I do believe you when you're saying that. They're just the way they're showing it to me is like, oh no, this is like it. So I'm gonna correct you in feeling like I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go. It's like, yes, you do, but to get there, you kind of have to do something that makes you feel a little bit nervous and uncomfortable because you're like, well, I might fall in that icy cold water, but I know I need to climb out of this because we're stuck kind of like on an iceberg. I need to climb out of this and get on the iceberg, which is solid, and trek across the ice a little bit and then get up that side of that wall, which, from a distance appears like there's no way over it. But like as you get closer, you see there's little stairs and like there's ways up it. It's not as impossible as you think. And so they're sort of just saying like you kind of have to do the scary stuff. Some of the scary stuff may mean they're like doing that self-concept work, doing that inner child work, which is not always fun, and like really being real and raw with yourself about why you're at where you're at. And the other stuff is like being brave enough to just jump out and do what brings you joy without consideration of everybody else around you. Or again, this is another theme of needing to explain yourself to those around you. So the only reason you're stuck is really your own mind. So then it's looking at like, well, why do you find yourself paralyzed in those moments of not, of being not, sorry, of not using momentum to push you forward, of not jumping into that momentum. I'm using this as a metaphor, but like this idea that like, I always had this idea that people who have like super uber clean houses and like clean all the time or whatever, it's because they just love cleaning. And hi, McKeegan. Happy daylight savings. This idea that they just love cleaning, but the reality is that it's not that they love cleaning, it's just that they know how to take advantage of the momentum of the energy in that moment. It's like I start to do one thing, well, I can do more and more and more, and like then they kind of get in the momentum and it just becomes something that they're doing. And it just feels like that, like it's like you have this idea that everybody else is just doing it easily and without, like they're just really motivated, or they're really like just like they totally power through and they're just so much more on top of it all. And it's like, no, they just got into the momentum of the energy. And maybe they just went, oh, okay, that sucks. I'm gonna have to push through that. So it's not anything it's like specifically not like, oh, you should do this or that. It's literally like you just literally have to talk to your brain and say, like, no, we need to move forward and go do this. And also making yourself a priority and not being concerned about, well, what if nobody wants to go to this concert with me? Or what if nobody wants to, then just go by yourself. I guess maybe 45 put me into the mode of like, I'll just go by myself. I don't want to wait around for somebody to join me. I'm not going to feel bad about myself because nobody can get their stuff together and want to come join me. I'll just go by myself. So it's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's not like there's a magic thing. It's like literally just going, oh, I just need to do this. And it's okay for me to put myself first. And everybody else will survive. You're welcome. Do you have a grandmother? I think it's his dad's mom who passed with a heart issue. This is for you, Joelle. Yes, you do. Okay. So, she is stepping in to let you know that you're not alone. And I think that that's also validation of the message that I'm getting. So, like, if I'm getting something where it's like, yes, that's right. She had Alzheimer's, but did she actually pass from a heart issue? Because I feel like that's more of an issue than the Alzheimer's. Like, for cause of death. She had a swallowing issue too. I just feel like, um, she wants you to make sure you're taking good care of yourself. Okay. And then Gia, what's my question is what? So the reason why I think she popped in and the reason why I think it popped in the way it did is just more of validating that what I was getting for you about like, it's not because there's no way to validate that. It's just information that they're giving me that you wanted to know is to like kind of lean into that. And you've been thinking about her. Lovely. You're welcome. Okay, my question is what's coming up for me regarding love? And yes, I needed an extra heart today. Oh, you're welcome. No problem. That's from them. It's not from me because it was completely, I have no idea where that came from. Okay. Are you planning a vacation where there's either jet skiing or a speedboat? Maybe two-footed skiing. I just see a lot of water and like something cutting through the water very fast. And I see it from the aspect of like being at water level and seeing that. Like, not that it's not going to hit you or anything like that. So it's not going to hit you. But it's just like that's how I'm seeing it. Um, you sure you're not planning a trip, like maybe even to the Mediterranean? Like, think Spain. So this may be coming up for you within the next year. Um, and it feels like it's more affordable than you're aware. It's not. I'm leaning towards it more being Spain, but um, it may be maybe Spain and Italy. I'm not 100% sure. Um, and it feels more like doing this as like um, a pilgrimage of like finding yourself or connecting with yourself, or just again, like kind of like with others, I've said, just finding yourself and just doing what you want to do and not waiting for others to, um, you know, tag along. Unless this person that you meet is coming in as from one of these countries. Because I do feel a connection to them there. I put this more towards November of next year, like so a year from now. I also feel like things look drastically different a year from now for you, meaning feeling more empowered, feeling less like I'm just being batted around like a little, ping pong ball, but that I have more direction and I feel more empowered about who I am. less imposter syndrome and having less imposter syndrome. They said seeking the truth of who you are. And something in February feels like the catalyst to this. That'll happen in February feels like the catalyst to this. And yes, I do feel like it puts you on the path to love, but it's not the reason for you doing this. And I also feel like whoever this last gentleman was in your life, and I use that term gentleman loosely, um, has a great grandmother energy. This feels like I'm leaning towards mom's side, but it might be on dad's because I see it. I don't know. She's talking about her son a lot, but she's also making me feel like you could do so much better. Um, I feel like the last guy you were with did a little bit of gaslighting. I tried to make you feel like you did something wrong. Like, I don't like him. Like on the outside, I feel really flashy. I've got a nice watch. I'm dressed well. People like me. I'm successful. But I feel like he just wasn't very nice to you. He was kind of condescending, and it's that feeling of like this next period of time is really just you um, leaning into who you are and loving yourself. And that's sort of where you'll shine the most, by the way. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. DL. So I hope that's helpful. My skin is just so annoyed with everything right now. I changed my sweater like I don't know how many times. I wasn't going to wear this one. I was going to wear a different one, but I just wanted to like. So I had ordered some shirts. I'm waiting for them to be like they're long sleeve, and so I'm waiting for them to come in. Anyway, hi. I'm wondering if there's a loving, committed relationship coming in. I've been single for several years now. All right, Dulcie. Oh, sorry. I actually feel like, is there somebody else already in your orbit? Like, are you sort of dating someone right now? Because I just feel like this is someone who's coming. If you're not with them now, this is somebody you actually already know. And I'm leaning towards knowing them for at least 5 years. And it feels a little unexpected only because you never really looked at him that way before. Okay. So it feels like whoever this is, it feels like you've known him for about 5 years. You wouldn't have either he was already in relationships or whatever, but it just felt very friendly, and wouldn't have considered him. Maybe he's not, um, the type of guy that you would normally date, but he feels really like a good guy. This feels like somebody you already know. It feels very familiar. Even if you're not dating, is there somebody you hang out with? Like this just feels like I know him already. You'll keep an eye out. um, it just feels so much more, it feels like we joke around a lot, we're silly together, but I would have never expected to like I had never really looked at him that way before. I don't feel like he's super tall. He's maybe 5'8", 5'9". He doesn't feel like a super tall guy. I just feel him like being like maybe if nieces and nephews, they call him Tio or something like that, but I don't think he's literally their uncle. It's just like that kind of thing. Like I feel like I wouldn't have looked at him that way before. No dating apps here tonight. Anyway, all right. I think that's it. I think we're done. Is everybody satisfied? That's it. So I will say goodnight. I hope everybody's good. I don't know. Dating apps could be tricky, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, I met my husband on Match.com, but that was before it was an actual like app. It was online. So it was different. You're very welcome. I hope everybody has a good night, and I will see y'all next week.